Welcome to this deep dive. We have just a fascinating stack of sources today that blend language learning materials, everyday cafe and restaurant culture, and the actual science of storytelling.
Yeah, it's a really unique intersection. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily think ordering a latte has anything to do with cognitive science.
Right. But for you, the listener, especially if you're, navigating language learning or you just want to understand the sort of unspoken rules of daily social interactions, our mission today is to decode this complex linguistic and cultural dance of cafes and restaurants.
Exactly. And we're going to uncover why the human brain uses stories as the ultimate codebreaker to master all these skills.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Because something as simple as getting a morning coffee is actually a highly choreographed cultural performance.
Oh, completely. It's a stage play every single morning.
Yeah, and whether you are learning a new language or just curious about human behavior, this deep dive is going to totally change how you view your next coffee run. So before we can decode the language of the cafe, we have to look at the psychological state of the people actually walking through the doors, right?
We do, yeah. Because there is a huge contrast in the morning routine. You have people who literally throw on their clothes and rush out the door into rush hour.
Just that pure chaotic survival mode.
Right, exactly. And contrast that with people who take the time to intentionally start the day right, where people get that coffee fix plays a big role in this.
Yeah, I mean, some make it at home, some stop at a fancy coffee shop, or some hit a convenience store. Like, the sources mentioned this huge debate in parts of Asia over whether Family Mart makes better iced coffee than 7-Eleven. Oh, yeah, that is a fiercely debated topic.
I'm firmly on Team Family Mart, but I digress. The fascinating thing is the science behind just the smell of the coffee. Yes, the aroma trick. It is scientifically proven that just the aroma of coffee can make you more alert and improve your mood.
Wait, really? Just smelling it?
Just smelling it. You don't even need to drink it. It's this wild psychological trick where people will actually stand in a cafe line, smell the coffee, feel completely satisfied, and then leave without buying anything.
That is amazing. Just soaking up the secondhand dopamine.
Literally, yeah. And when people actually do drink it, the vocabulary we use reveals a lot about their mental state.
Like the difference between chugging and sipping.
Exactly. If you're stressed, you're chugging it. You're drinking it fast all at once because you're rushing. But if you're relaxed, you're sipping.
You're taking small amounts, getting some direction for, a brand new day.
Right. And sipping in a cafe naturally triggers the present continuous tense.
Oh, like grammar in action.
Exactly. You sit there and think, I'm drinking coffee or I'm sitting by the window. It grounds you in the present moment.
So would you say this morning coffee routine is effectively a psychological magic pill? Like a silent promise to yourself that the day is going to be okay?
I really like that phrase, actually. Yes, these daily rituals act as a massive anchor against morning anxiety.
Right. Well, it's an anchor until you actually approach the counter and have to order.
Yeah.
Because that is where psychological comfort just violently collides with extreme linguistic anxiety.
Yeah, it's huge transition. You go from relaxing to suddenly having to perform a very specific social script.
And the script changes depending on where you are. Like, take Australian cafe culture from the sources.
Yeah, in Australia, being direct is a huge mistake. If you walk up and say, "Give me coffee," that is considered incredibly rude.
Wow. So what are you supposed to say?
You have to use polite starters, something like, "Could I get a coffee, please?" You have to frame it softly. And if you're taking it with you, you don't say something clunky like, go out coffee.
Right, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, you just say, "Take away, thanks." And if you don't understand the barista, which, by the way, originally meant a bar worker in Italian before English turned it into a coffee professional, you have to fix it politely.
You can't just yell, "What?"
No, you take the blame. You say, "Sorry, could you say that again?"
But I feel like the real terror, especially in a second language, is the anxiety of customization.
Oh, customization fear is universally paralyzing for language learners.
Yeah, because you fear the rolling eyes from the barista, right?
Yeah.
Like you're holding up the line.
Exactly. Or you're terrified you're going to use the wrong word and end up getting hot water instead of a latte.
Which is why so many people just point at a picture on the menu and nod, just to avoid the stress entirely.
It's a very common defense mechanism, yeah.
But I always push back on this fear of being a troublemaker. Because in the US, Canada, and the UK, customizing is completely expected. It's like building a Lego set, right?
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, like the staff actually expects you to swap out the pieces. You just need the right linguistic connectors to snap them together.
I love that analogy. And you really do need a specific toolkit for it. Like if you want plant-based milks, oat, almond, soy, you have to use words like substitute, sub, or instead of.
Right. So like, can I sub oat milk?
Exactly. And if you're ordering food, you use phrases like hold the onion.
Or on the side, so your food isn't totally soggy from the dressing.
Yes. It's so efficient. And for drink mods, the vocabulary is just as specific. You ask for light ice, extra ice, half sweet, or unsweetened.
And you can ask for specific pumps of syrup too, right?
You can, but you really have to watch out for the upcharge, that little extra fee they add on.
Ugh, the dreaded upcharge. And we haven't even talked about the sizes. Like small, medium, large is fine, but then Starbucks has this totally counterintuitive system.
Right. Tall, grande, venti. It practically requires its own dictionary.
It really does.
Yeah.
But what happens when you use all the right words and they still get it wrong?
Well, the cultural rule is to be very gentle about fixing mistakes. You don't accuse them. You use a passive phrase like, I think there was a mix-up.
Mix-up. It completely removes the blame from the server. It's brilliant.
It preserves the social harmony perfectly.
Okay, so you've successfully navigated the counter, you got your highly customized drink, and you sit down with a friend. You would think you're safe, but
you're definitely not.
Right. A whole new set of social and financial vocabularies comes into play.
This is where the social dance really begins. First, you have the small talk. Phrases like, it's been ages, or grab a coffee, or catch up over coffee.
Or asking for recommendations like, what's your house plan?
Exactly. But the small talk is just a warm-up for the ultimate cultural minefield at the end of the meal.
The check. Who pays?
It's so stressful.
It really is. Because the rules change based on the situation. If it's a business dinner, the host or the boss pays. That's pretty standard.
And if it's friends, you usually just split the bill equally.
Right. But dates are highly complex. Oh, completely.
It could be 50-50, which people call going halves or going Dutch. It could be traditional, where the man pays. Or it could be taking turns, like, I'll cover dinner, you cover drinks.
I always laugh at the North American custom of engaging in this friendly argument over who gets to pay. It's like this polite wrestling match where the winner gets the privilege of losing money.
What's fascinating here is how language shapes these rituals of generosity.
Yeah, because people use very specific phrases, right?
They do. It's a whole performance. This is my treat. Dinner is on me. I want to cover dinner, or I insist.
I insist. It's so dramatic.
It is. And once you win that battle, you face another massive anxiety source: tipping culture.
Oh, the tipping screen. It's just terrifying.
In the U.S. and Canada, a 15 to 20% tip is practically mandatory. It's considered incredibly rude not to tip, and people feel immense guilt just pressing the no tip button on those little screens.
It feels like everyone in the cafe is judging you.
Right. But this culture is vastly different in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Tipping is not handled the same way there at all.
So, okay, if I'm learning English or just trying to navigate this culture, how am I supposed to remember all these complex rules? From half sweet to going Dutch.
Rote memorization and flashcards will completely fail you here, especially in the fast-paced, high-stress environment of a cafe.
Because your brain just freezes up.
Exactly. To truly learn this language, we have to look at how the brain actually absorbs information, and that is through stories.
Wait, stories? Like fiction?
Yes, because words and grammar don't live in isolation. Stories provide this rich, meaningful schema that lowers what linguists call the affective filter.
The affective filter, what is that exactly?
It essentially means the barrier of anxiety. When learners feel less anxiety, the filter is lowered, and they take more risk and absorb more language.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
There's actual science behind this. Stephen Krashen has this theory called the input hypothesis. The idea is that you give learners comprehensible input that is just slightly above their current level.
The famous I+1 concept, right?
Exactly. And this leads to methods like TPRS teaching proficiency through reading and storytelling.
How does that work in practice?
It uses physical gestures, tons of repetition, and what they call circling questions to just constantly reinforce the vocabulary inside a narrative.
But does it actually work better than like traditional studying?
It absolutely does. The sources cite a study from the Education University of Hong Kong that proved storytelling-based grammar instruction produces statistically significant improvements over traditional drills.
Wow. Okay, so give me a practical example. How does a story teach someone to order coffee?
Well, let's take a specific story used in these methods called The Haircut.
The haircut.
Yeah, it's about a woman who is furious over her husband's bad haircut, so she shows up with a shotgun.
Wait, a shotgun? What does that have to do with a cafe?
It sounds crazy, but a story like that teaches dialogue, conflict, and reported speech far better than any textbook exercise. Because it's emotional, it's vivid, and it forces you to understand the context.
Ah, I see. It's like trying to learn to swim by reading about water molecules.
Right.
Right? Like a textbook just gives you the molecular structure.
Yeah.
But you need the fluid, emotional environment of a story to actually dive in and learn how to move around.
That is exactly it. The emotion of the story makes the language stick.
That is just incredible. So to briefly recap this wild journey we've been on today, we started with the psychological comfort of just smelling a morning brew, right?
Yeah, the aroma anchor.
Then we waded through the polite anxiety of customizing an order, figuring out how to sub and hold ingredients, and then fighting over the bill with our friends.
And navigating the guilt of the tipping screens.
Yes, all of that, leading to the scientific realization that stories are the actual key to mastering all of it.
It's all connected, the culture, the psychology, and the narrative.
So for you listening, I really want to remind you that the next time you grab a coffee, you aren't just buying a drink. You are participating in this rich, beautifully structured cultural narrative.
You're stepping onto the stage.
You really are. Which leaves me with a final provocative thought for you to mull over today. If storytelling is scientifically the best way to train our brains to navigate the anxiety of a second language, could we use intentional storytelling to rewrite our own native habits?
Oh, that's a brilliant question.
Right. Like, could telling yourself a different story finally cure your fear of being a troublemaker in your own life? Whether that's at the cafe or in a boardroom, just something to think about on your next coffee run.
Truly food for thought.
Well, that's all for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.